Well, hi everybody, and it's Sunday the 2nd of February. We're recording for Club Grubbery. G'day, John. Good to see you again, mate.
Thanks, Hoodie. Great to be back.
And we have Kianna Probert on with us, who many of you know from various interviews done with us and other networks, who has been fighting to get custody of her children back in the most unspeakable circumstances, from what apparently stems from just finding out your son has leukemia and then asking the doctor for a second opinion. Everything just stemmed from there. It's just crazy. So welcome on, Kianna. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, so everybody who'll be watching this knows the story. You're currently up in Cairns, right? And this all started in Perth when you took Jackson to hospital because he was not well, and the doctors there diagnosed him with leukemia. And they were proposing immediate treatment, and you were shocked to hear that your son had leukemia, and you took a deep breath and you said, "Look, can we have a bit of time to get our heads around this? And is it possible to get a second opinion?" And the oncologist said, "I'm going to red flag you," which means she was going to report you to child safety,
Yeah.
and it all went south from there.
Yeah.
So you now find yourself in Cairns. And you have not had custody of your children since when?
The 20th of the 12th, 23. No, 24, sorry. 24. God, these years.
Right. So, and you have lost custody of both children. Jackson's not well. Your other child is fine, but they took both children off you.
Yeah, they've taken both of them, yes.
Okay. So everybody understands the situation. It has been explained. It's been explained on Cafe Lockdown, other programs, and this one as well. But John, it appears that what this ultimately is a conflict between integrative medicine and mainstream medicine, because Kianna wanted to reinforce her baby's treatment with alternative medical treatments as well, which have been tried and proven. And we have involved Professor Ian Brighthope in this, who's been an integrative specialist for 42 years fighting this stuff, John. And it is clear that integrative medicine, if applied in situations like this, can work really well. For those of you who don't know, integrative medicine is about trying alternative methods in conjunction with mainstream methods to boost the best results that they can. For example, a friend of ours is being treated by integrative medicine specialists for leukemia. She's 23 years of age. She has been treated with chemo, but she's also being treated with massive doses of vitamin C, vitamin D3, and other treatments. And that's going ahead in cooperation with the doctors who are administering the alternative medical care and those who are administering the chemo. Both teams are working together to bring about a result. Now, the chemo, was felt by Dr. Brighthope in the case I'm talking about of the 23-year-old, that needed to commence immediately because he looked at her bone marrow biopsy results and said, this girl needs to start chemo, but we need to work to boost the immune system and give her the best chance of recovering from the chemo and going on to live a healthy life. And Dr. Brighthope, Professor Brighthope, has got many runs on the board, many runs on the board. His experience is second to none, and he's had great success. And some doctors, it would appear, are happy to embrace that and give both avenues of medicine a chance. But it appears, John, that some are not. Some dig their heels in and they're not interested in anything unless it's big pharma-backed mainstream medicine. Have I described it right?
Well, I think so, Hoodie. It's sort of akin to a couple of captains flying a jet coming into land and having a squabble about how they're going to do the approach. At the end of the day, there's probably multiple ways you can do it, but landing safely at the end is obviously what everyone wants, and that's what we want here. But it seems absolutely outrageous that these egos are getting in the way of being productive in the care of Jax, and everyone in the inner circle is now suffering as a result of that turmoil.
Now, I've got to tell you, Kianna, and I'm not going to say this to perturb you or anything because your fears are already at a heightened state. But at a recent function I was at, I spent several hours talking to somebody who worked for 35 years in child protection. And I asked some basic questions. I asked this person, do child protection get it wrong? And she said, well, not always, but we do. I also asked her, what was the instance of carers being appointed to look after children who were predators and of predatory behaviour, and how big a problem was that? She said it was a huge problem. It was one of the biggest things they had to deal with, and it was very, very difficult. So we have heard horror stories. My own wife, Michelle, has worked as an advocate for people caught up in these situations, and she has told me some horror stories about how these things have gone wrong. Now, please tell us, Kianna, what happened recently when you went to Cairns Base Hospital?
So I was on the Esplanade, and I just thought I'd check the hospital because I know that they've been taking him there for appointments, and it's the only hospital. So I walked into the main entrance bottom of the hospital, and I seen my oldest son Jax sat there with this man on his own, and I just pretty much went straight up to him, gave Jax hugs and kisses, and told him that I'm here and that I love him lots, and where's his brother, because he wasn't right there. We ended up speaking to the carer that the man that was there with Jax, and asked him where Abel was and could he get him here as soon as possible. So he rang his friend, and they rocked up pretty quick. Abel did, and he told me that Abel was in that car down there. So I went down there to go get Abel as well, so that I could be with them together. As I went to get Abel out of the car, it was another man that had Abel as well. So I just took Abel and went straight back to Jax with the both of them, and just tried to spend as much time as I could with the both of them. Both these males were obviously different ethnicity as well. During this time, my children said that they can fit in their bed. My youngest child's face was shocking. It was looked worse than the worst sunburn you've ever had in your life, and then a sore on the top of his nose as well, all under his eyes, his cheeks, and that. They both informed me that they've been asking to come home on a regular basis, and we just cuddled the entire time. My youngest didn't let me go, just sat on my lap around my neck the entire time. I tried to talk to them as much as I could, let them know that I'm here and I'm alive, and that I'm fighting and I'm coming for them, and I'm not going to stop. I just tried to get out as much as I could with them. Police ended up being called and coming. So two police from the normal Cairns base station, and then I think there was about maybe 4 or 5 detectives from the child safety investigation unit, and I just stated to everyone that I was just there for proof of life of my children. Needed them to see that I was alive. I needed to see that they were alive. I'm not my plan wasn't to take them anywhere, nothing like that. And if I was going to have taken them, I had plenty of time to have done that. It took ages before the police arrived. And I did that all peacefully as well. Gave my kids hugs and kisses, and had to hand them back to these men while the police made me do this. No arguing or nothing. No screaming, no violence. Just as calm as possible. Watched them take them into the car the whole way, and just kept telling them how much I love them, blowing them kisses, and that I'm coming for them. And that's kind of how that day ended.
So, are you saying that your two children are in the care of two men, foster carers.
Yeah.
So there's no feminine influence at all. There's no motherly influence at all. They are in the care of two men.
And they've never really spent any time with men at all, like ever, and especially people that act in a manner that, in particular, one of these men did act. I would never have these men around my children ever.
You mentioned they were of a...
I also found out that they had been moved 3 times already, so 3 different people and houses already, before being put with these 2 men. So there is no welfare for my children. There is no duty of care. There is no best interests. From what I
nationality, what nationality are these men?
Nigerian, I think.
They're black African men.
Yeah.
Right. So before everybody gets uptight about racism and all that rubbish, forget about that. This goes way beyond that, John, for sure.
Mm.
How would it be for now? Tell the audience how old your children are again.
One's 8 and one's 5.
Ripped out of their mother's care. We've seen the video of how the children were taken from you in New South Wales.
Yeah.
Ripped out of your care, and now find themselves living in and apparently sleeping in a bed with, from what the children are saying, 2 black African men. Now that, I don't know, John, take over.
Well, look, it just demonstrates, Hoodie, that the process here is needs an urgent intervention at a ministerial level, at the federal ministerial level. I mean, this has just got ridiculous. I mean, irrespective of all that background, I mean, it's not right. I mean, I'm sure there's probably difficulty in getting foster carers, but I mean, the best thing for those 2 kids was to put them into a family where you've got a mum and a dad, and there'd be some semblance of normality. I mean, that doesn't sound right to me, given the circumstances and the anxiety that these 2 children are likely to be experiencing, coming from a family where the involvement is really just female, your mum and yourself, Kianna. So I mean, it would be very confronting for them, irrespective of all the other information that you've given here about the circumstances. I mean, that alone should land on the ministerial desk of somebody to have a look at this. I mean, this is how crazy it is, and why were the police called? I mean, yes, I know you're obviously contravening the order by seeing them, but look, you're at the hospital. There's clearly no harm done. It just demonstrates to me why the process is so broken in the first place. I mean, the children obviously really responded to seeing you and knowing that you hadn't dumped them. That's what they'd be thinking. You've dumped them. Why has mummy dumped us? And to get that message through to them, even for those short minutes that you love them and that you didn't dump them, would be so reassuring to those kids. And then to end up in a situation, Hoodie, where you end up with half a dozen or more police for 2 female people about 5 foot tall, who are not making a racket, not causing issue. I mean, it seems to be another complete overreaction that would have had another negative effect on the children.
How is the welfare of the children being considered when they're ripped away from their mother in violent circumstances? They've been now with 3 different sets of foster carers, currently with 2 black African men who would appear completely alien to them, completely alien. One of them is going through critical treatment for a life-threatening disease and desperately needs to be with his mum. His mum is clearly sane, is clearly a decent human being who clearly loves her children. Has anyone looked further down the road to see the ramifications psychologically of this on the children and on Kianna and her mum? I mean, if they're saying that this is a welfare thing, then they are so narrow-minded. They are not thinking outside the square. They're not thinking beyond the nose on their face. This is, as you say, this requires ministerial involvement. There's something wrong. There is something wrong. Now, there are lawyers that are working together on all of this stuff, trying to piece it all together because you do need legal advice. Professor Ian Brighthope has been looking at the medical information that's been provided and the test results, and he confirms that Jackson is not a well boy. He's not well. But he also says there's so much they can do through integrative medicine to improve his chances while working with mainstream medicine. So what does it take for us to get everyone together and say what is in the best interest of these children and how can we utilise all the resources now that are gathering around these two kids to give them the best result in care with their mother where they're meant to be? Government has gone too far in this country, John.
Well, I'll tell you what it needs, Hoodie. It needs Donald Trump-style leadership in Australia. We are basically, we don't have any leadership here. We don't have, there's very few politicians that have got any ticker. I mean, it's just, the whole thing's just woke, mad, and the majority of Australians are sick to death of this BS that's going on a daily basis. And here's just another example of bureaucracy gone mad, absolutely mad. And the sooner it's fixed, the better. And I mean, people need to not only wake up to what's going on with all the other stuff, but I mean, people need to start calling this out. This sort of stuff is unacceptable. I mean, if Kianna needs help, get her help. Get her help in the family unit. Provide assistance within that to make everything good. Nobody here is trying to do anything that's going to cause harm to these children. This is just about finding a happy medium. And the sooner that is allowed to happen, the better for everyone. And it's madness, Hoodie. It's just complete madness.
So you've obviously been trying to communicate with Child Protection. How are they treating you?
Honestly, worse than a criminal, worse than an ice addicted family criminal parents, whether that's one parent or both. I'm being treated like an absolute criminal. Like it's disgusting. I'm being ignored. My concerns are being ignored. I'm being lumbered with paperwork about behaviour and the way my tone was when I said something out over and above the well-being of my children. So it's
you're fighting for your children and they're upset about your tone of voice.
Yeah.
In the face of the most unreasonable outcomes, John. I mean, really, who are these people? Who are these clowns, John?
Well, they're intellects like Chris Bowen. I mean, these are the future of Australia. This is why we are in a hell of a mess in this country. I mean, to think that those sorts of people can even make it into a parliament, let alone run a country, is just unbelievable. I mean, they wouldn't be able to run a hot bath, these clowns. That they are just dopes. And I tell you, we need to pull the levers on them. We've had enough. And I tell you, Peter Dutton needs to show some leadership here. I mean, he's a former police officer. He comes from Queensland, where you are. He should be on top of this. This is not a good outcome for anyone. You know, and I'm not doubting, Kianna, that there might be issues that you need to work through? I don't know. We're not involved in your case. I mean, I'm not saying you're an angel. I'm not saying that you're doing everything right. Maybe there are things that the child services people have concerns about that you can work with them to fix those things up so that everyone can get on. But I mean, Hoody's right. It does appear to me to be a pub brawl between the medical hierarchy about the treatment program that you want to take on for Jax. That's what it seems to be. I mean, you've obviously got their you've really wound them up, and some of these doctors just cannot be told that they are like gods, and heaven forbid if a mother questions the medical treatment or wants a second opinion. I mean, this is how mad it's become.
Have you approached any politicians about this?
Yeah, actually, we've spoken to a few of them. Yeah, have done actually since the beginning. The first time that they did this in WA, reached out to heaps of them, but a lot of them just said that once it's in court, we can't do anything about it. Or two, my hands are tied. I'm the little person. There's nothing I can do. Um, pretty standard comebacks from them. Some don't even want to get back to me at all. Like, so it's a bit hard when there's people out there that know the system is broken, but refuse to be able to help, even though they say that their hands are tied. If you got all of you together that believe the same stuff and can see the system's broken, and there's more of you than there is of the broken parts, things would start being done, things would start being changed. It's a sick and twisted thing, and there's a lot of people that know about it and work and breathe this every day and are too scared of losing their job or their position to help humanity, really, in those words. Really, um, it's sad that they know that our system's broken, but don't want to step out of it to help or use their platform for where they are inside the system to help. It's very hard and it's very draining, to keep being told that certain people that should be able to do something cannot. Um,
So tell us some of the politicians. Who have you spoken to?
One of them is what's his name? Senator Robert. His office. I've spoken to them on a few occasions. What's the other one? Michael Healy. He said he can't do anything because it's in court. Who else from the beginning? We haven't heard back from Senator Reddick's office yet. Who was the other ones from the beginning? Libby Medham, Jade Sanderson. Yeah, heaps. We're waiting still to hear back from some, but lots of the ones that we've already spoken to said that there's not really anything that they can do. So
you haven't spoken to Jared Rennick personally or Malcolm Roberts personally?
No.
Right. Well, maybe we need to get that to happen at the very least, because I think Russell Broadbent as well, John.
Definitely.
This goes beyond the pale. This does not pass any pub test in Australia. It cannot pass any pub test. Now, you would be prepared to cooperate with all the authorities to make sure that the proper treatments were given to Jax. If that were allowed, you would be happy to do that. You'd be happy to be guided through that process.
Yeah, well, I agreed with them that he is to have the mercury oral chemotherapy with his herbal medicine and his acupuncture in cahoots together. We'd only just agreed on doing that. They'd only just gone over the medication list of the Chinese herbal medicine to state that he could have it with the mercupurine, and that came back fine. Took him nearly 2 weeks to do so, but that came back and said that that was fine, and that was the plan, and that's what we were working towards. So we were already, in communication with the hospital, and these are the things that me and the hospital and the doctors came together as a what's the word?
Liaison.
Yeah, that's it. Together, like we were, constant communication. I've never not ever just gone silent. I've always mentioned when like I can't make an appointment, or I've got to change an appointment, or he didn't have his blood test this day, he had that this day. I've always been in constant communication with these people throughout the whole process. I've expressed concerns when I've felt like I'm not being listened to and ignored. I have been multiple times, but I've still continued to try and work with these people still, and be transparent with them and expect the same in return. But I've not been getting that in return. And now they've gone and done this. When Jax finishes his last round of chemotherapy on the 4th of the 4th, you know what I mean? He's almost finished anyway. So the chemo will be finished on the 4th of the 4th, and then we have to go for, I think, yearly checkups, after that.
Have they told you when they're planning to give the children back to you?
No. They're trying to put in for that 12-month order at this stage, which exceeds Jax's finishing his chemotherapy and beyond that. The lawyer that I did speak to when it comes to families stated that they don't really have any grounds for Abel, at all. They don't have any grounds for anything for Abel. So she's already said that about that side of things.
This needs a proper review, John.
Well, Hoodie, I was just going to say too, Kianna, I heard you just say then you were talking about Chinese herbal medicines, did you? And acupuncture as some of the alternative treatments. I mean, here we go, APRA. I mean, you people are just a complete fraud, aren't you? I mean, APRA is the regulator. APRA are responsible for the regulation of Chinese medicine and for acupuncture. They're under their remit. So what are you saying as the regulator that two of these specialist areas that you manage, you endorse, what are you saying? That it's all hocus pocus? Can't use it. I mean, what's the point of APRA being involved? I mean, if you think it's no good, APRA and all these other authorities, why don't you just come out and get it off your list? So these people are witch doctors. It's a waste of time. And just go down your traditional path. But no, you don't. You've actually got them. You've got them on your website. You control them. You authorise it. So that to me, Hoodie, says that they are viable alternatives.
Yep. And Ian Brighthope has locked horns with APRA for decades, John, for years. Well, the authorities, the medical boards. APRA wasn't around that long, but there is something wrong here. Now, the biggest problem we've got is that we cannot get to anybody who is prepared to have a thorough investigation into this case. Who do you talk to? I mean, if the politicians can't get anyone to talk, who's here we have the bureaucracy again wagging the dog.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the very minimum, Hoodie, you would think that, Kianna, have you been subjected to any, medical referrals? Have they said to you, look, we want you to have a psychiatrist assessment or something?
No, they tried to do that when they first took Jax in WA. They tried to get me psych evaluated, but both my lawyer at the time was like, that's not needed. You can quite clearly see there's nothing wrong with this woman when it concerns mental capacity. She found out something shocking and asked a reasonable question that anyone else would ask. So that got thrown out in court in WA. Now they've tried to put it on paperwork in this stuff about my mental capacity to parent or something like that. And it's like, you know what I mean? There is nothing, you know, you can come at me and try that if you'd like, but there is nothing, you know what I mean? So ultimately like I've seen a friend of my brother's way out there, both siblings of another friend of my brother's, because I don't want to use names, they had undergone their child being taken away from them. Now, they were both addicted to a drug. They were both very violent in front of the child and all sorts of stuff like that. Never hurt the child or anything like that, but violent in front of the child and, you know, have their own problems. Now, they took their child from them. Less than 4 months later, they were given back their child. And I was still fighting for mine during this time back in WA. So it was actually quite hard to take in that me as a person that, you know, I'm not perfect. No one is, but I've never had that be a problem in my life or in my children's life. I've never had a man around that does that, and anytime they have, they've been booted out straight away. So to watch that with my own two eyes while I was fighting for my child, because I want the best interest for my child, was uncomprehendable. Like, how do I comprehend someone that's being charged criminally for breaking and entering and all that gets their child back before I do, and all I wanted was a second opinion? It's wrong. It's so wrong. Like, there's children that I believe need the help, and their parents need the help, and they need the protection. Like 100% that happens, but you're not picking the right people. You're taking kids from good families and good homes and loving and caring parents. Not always is that the circumstance in some circumstances, but at the moment that seems to be the main thing that I'm seeing with a lot of us, and we're being silenced. Like, there are so many of us that have had situations like I'm in when it concerns medical or, you know, injury from a vaccine or whatever. These parents are being silenced, manipulated, put down, defamed, all sorts. We're being treated like a criminal, but where am I in court criminally? Where am I having to prove that I'm a good person in society? You know, like it's wrong. And it doesn't make any sense. There's like no sense. No matter how hard I have tried to make sense of this whole ordeal, even the first time they took Jags, I haven't been able to. I can't. I've had to just go with God knows what he's doing. He knows what he's giving me, and it's in his hands, because I cannot comprehend it. I can't comprehend this. There is no comprehension for this. It does not make any sense. It's out. It's just, I don't even have words to describe this.
So you've got some pretty good people working on the legal side of it, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm talking to a few. I'm bouncing back from a few. Like, I paid $440 the other day for a consultation with this family lawyer, and she wants me to pretty much see if we can get it dropped from 12 months to 6 months in court. So she didn't really give me good advice or good suggestions. She hadn't even gone over all the files properly. So I'm still looking at this stage. I feel I just feel like I haven't found the right person that's, I don't know, courageous. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I found someone good enough yet. Like, I don't feel like I'm being listened to. Like, and no one's reading the facts. They just like, oh, bow down. We have to do what they say, and it's like, it's very difficult. And when I did this the first time, I had to prove myself. I had to write affidavits about my family life before having my children and things like that. Like, I had to prove that I was a good mother. You know what I mean? And I've already proven that I am a good mother. There's nothing wrong with my mothering capacity or the judgment to make parenting decisions, whether that be medical or not. I'm more than capable of doing these things. So them trying to say that I neglect my children is outrageous. There is no neglect. Every doctor's report that Jax has had done, every blood report review, he's been fine. None of these doctors have said, "Oh, his blood's too high. Did you give him a little bit of this?" Or how about we try this? Or his reviews, you know, he's getting his blood pressure, his height, his weight, and everything checked out. Oh yeah, he's cool. Everything's fine. You know, stay with the same dosages. You're doing good. He's good. Why am I being accused of being a neglectful parent and having my children taken away from me because of supposed significant harm of neglect when there isn't any? There is none. It's disgusting.
We believe you. We believe you. We believe you. You look like a rational, normal mum who's going through hell at the moment, and it's all because government has way too much to do with our life. Way too much to do with our life.
Hoodie, I'll go one step further. I mean, Kianna, you know, you're a national treasure. I mean, to be so articulate and to be so calm and rational under such duress is phenomenal. I mean, it's testimony to your character, and I mean, it just demonstrates why these grubs have got it so wrong, in my opinion. And unless there's something, you know, what let everyone know what's going on. If they're concerned, you come out and say it. I'm sure you'd be happy for that. You just want the kids back. This is. I think you're right, Woody. You've hit the nail on the head there. This has just turned into an upper echelon battle between the medical factions. That's the problem.
I would like to ask anyone from Child Protection in Queensland to come on and explain to us what the rationale is behind this debacle, why they're so heavily involved in it when it originated from WA for a start, and it appeared to be dealt with. Everything was going fine. We would happily have you on and give you an opportunity to explain what's going on with this case so we can all get a better picture of it. If you've got something to say about this young lady and her parenting, then we invite you to come on and say it publicly. You know, but these children, I don't know how many people who work in child protection who have children, but how would they be if they were in Kianna's situation? How would you be if your children who are under 10 were taken from you when one of them was in a medical crisis and they were moved from one house to another and they now find themselves in the care of two black African men? And once again, I'm going to say, don't pull the racist line on us because this transcends all of that garbage. There's more at stake than people's feelings being hurt here. But you'd have to ask, when two strange people are put into a situation, whether they be Chinese, it doesn't matter what their race is, but you'd have to ask yourself what could possibly go wrong. And the history of child protection in this country is filled with disaster, absolutely filled with disaster. And I can tell you that from personal experience because my wife, Michelle, and I have been running recovery programs for people for 18 years. And a lot of them have been caught up in these events. It destroys their destiny. Those two kids have had their destiny snuffed out. It's absolutely abhorrent. Now, you have an obligation, Child Protection, to come on and tell the Australian people what's going on. So we challenge you to do that. And we will send this video to several politicians and ask them to look at it and ask them to take it up. And at least we hope that it finds its way to the Minister for Child Safety in Queensland, if there is such a beast.
And I'll tell you too, Hoodie, I'm going to send it to a current affair. I think this should be right in their wheelhouse. I don't know why they haven't looked at it. And I'll personally send it on to Lizzie Pearl, who's one of the journalists there. She's a very decent lady and a very good journalist. So I'll send that to her personally because a current affairs. This is the sort of stuff that you should be. The lawyers won't win this. I'm sorry to say the lawyers aren't going to fix this problem, but somebody like a current affair might.
Well, you spend a lot of time chasing around dodgy real estate agents and car salesmen.
Yep.
How about putting journalism to work to do some good? Current affairs, 7:30 report.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of people that need to look at this. So we'll try and get this disseminated amongst as many people as we can. And we need to talk with you again a bit later on, Kianna. But I haven't met you personally. John hasn't met you personally, but you're a decent human being. You can tell you're just how old are you? 23 or something?
I'm 28.
You're 28. I mean, you're just a beautiful young mum who just wants to do the right thing by her kids. And this smacks of prejudice against people who look at alternative medical care to me. I mean, this stinks at every level. At least you deserve an explanation. At least you deserve a timeline as to when this can happen and you get your kids back. And the very least you deserve is a program that helps you to work with all these morons to have these things happen in a timely fashion for the welfare of not only you, but your children. So,
Well, as I say, what hope you got? I mean, look at the Minister for Transport in New South Wales and one of these other ministers, housing person. I mean, here they were on the 25th of January using the ministerial car to run around the wineries. They've said they're going to pay the money back. But I mean, this is the sort of indulgent behaviour that these people just think they're entitled to. They won't get their hands dirty on a case like this. But they're happy to go up to the Hunter Valley and seek out the best reds.
I'll tell you who needs to look at this, Bob Catter. Bob Catter needs to look at this too, member for Kennedy, which is where Cairns is. I think, Bob Catter needs to see this. Anyhow, let's try and get it out there as best we can. Let's have a prayer, shall we? Yeah. Lord Father in heaven, there are two little children at the moment who aren't in the care of their mum when they really need to be. And Father, we don't want to cast aspersions on carers, but this situation does seem to have a dodgy odour about it, Father God. There is something not quite right in the processes that are allowing these situations to happen. And we just pray for a hedge of protection around these two beautiful children, Father God. Please love and support and care for them, Father, and we pray that you will intervene through whatever means can be brought to bear to bring justice to this situation, but most of all, to reunite this family. Please, Father God, we need you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Can I swear? It's bullshit, John. It's just bullshit. Anyway, child protection, you have the opportunity to come on and talk to us or talk to us privately. You want to tell us that we're barking up the wrong tree and give us information we're unaware of, then we can make some better assessments. But at the moment, it's not looking good. And you have an obligation to boost confidence in the people of Queensland that you're doing the right job and you're capable of doing it without making mistakes. Because at the moment, your record doesn't stand up to scrutiny. Johnny, you've often been heard to say,
you just couldn't make this stuff up.
You couldn't make this stuff up. And I think Professor Ian Brighthope, be prepared to come onto the program very shortly to talk about this ridiculous battle between integrative medicine and mainstream. Because let's face it, that's what this is about.
Yep.
God bless you all. Stay out of the trees, everyone. If you love somebody and you haven't told them, let this program be a prime example of why you should. Kianna, you were able to do that to Jackson Abel, and it was great that they heard you and they saw you and they know you're not far away. Oh, just before you go, what were the hospital staff like during that whole process when you ran into the kids?
They didn't come down. They didn't want to see me. They didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to answer any questions that I had. They'd already hung up on me that same day, earlier that morning, when I asked questions. She's like, "Oh, you're raising your voice. I'm hanging up," and hung up on me. So I'm still meant to have parental guardianship over both of the children. So I'm still meant to consent for things and be told things and ask things, and I am not.
So the hospital hung up on you.
Yep.
And what about when you were in the cafe at the hospital?
They didn't want to come down. I asked for his doctors to come down, and they wouldn't. They wouldn't. They sent what were they? They sent like little office ladies, admin. That's it, admin. They sent admin down. That was it. They didn't come down. They didn't answer any questions. That was it. And they took Jax back the next day for his appointment.
So you can't even get a medical briefing on the condition of your son.
Yeah, I've got nothing. No answers. No one's answering anything. No one wants to talk.
Well, God bless you. We'll stay in touch. And thanks for watching, everybody. I know it's a pretty grim subject that we've been talking about. But, John, we have lost voluntary informed consent. We've lost the right to a second opinion. And we have no say whatsoever in how our children are raised in the medical environment. That's clear in this country. And that's reprehensible.
Yep.
We'll leave you with that, everybody. Thanks for watching Club Grubbery. Thanks for being on, Kianna. God bless you, and we'll talk to you again very soon. See you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.